Hi there! Welcome back to Atakitcha. Today, I'm going to be reading you part 2 of the Tailor of Gloucester. I will be linking part 1 in the description below so that the new people, can all go and watch that video. Let's start. Out of doors, the market folks went trudging through the snow to buy their geese and turkeys and to bake their Christmas pies. But there would be no Christmas dinner for Simpkin and poor old Tailor of Gloucester. The tailor lay ill for 3 days and nights, and then it was Christmas Eve, and very late at night. The moon climbed over roofs and chimneys, and looked down over the gateway into College Court. There were no lights in the windows, nor any sound in the houses. All the city of Gloucester was fast asleep under the snow. And still Simpkin wanted his mice, and he mewed as he stood beside the four-post bed. But it is in the old story that all the beasts can talk in night between Christmas Eve and Christmas Day in the morning, though there are very few folk that can hear them or know what it is they say. When the cathedral clock struck 12, there was an answer, like the echo of the chimes, and Simpkin heard it, and came out of the tailor's door, and wandered about in the snow. From all the roofs and gables and the old wooden houses in Gloucester came 1,000 merry voices singing the old Christmas rhymes, all the old songs that I've ever heard of, and some that I didn't know, like Whittington bells. First and loudest, the cocks cried out, "Dame, get up and bake your pies!" "Oh, dilly, dilly, dilly!" sighed Simpkin. And now in the garret there were lights and sounds of dancing, and cats came from all over the way. Hey diddle diddle the cat and the fiddle, all the cats in Gloucester. "Except me," said Simpkin. Under the wooden eaves the starlings and the sparrows sang of Christmas pies. The jackdaws woke up in the cathedral tower, and although it was at the middle of the night, the thrushes and the robins sang. The air was quite full of little twittering tunes. But it was all rather provoking to poor hungry Simpkin. Particularly he was vexed with some little shrill noises from behind the wooden lattice. I think that they were bats, because they always have very small voices, especially in a black forest, when they talk in their sleep, like the Tailor of Gloucester. They said something mysterious that sounded like "Buzz," quoth the blue fly, "Hum," quoth the bee, "Buzz and hum," they cry, "and so do we." And Simpkin went away shaking his ears as he had a bee in his bonnet. From the tailor's shop in Westgate came a glow of light, and when Simpkin crept up to peep at the window, it was full of candles. There was a snippeting of scissors and a snappeting of thread, and little mouses sang loudly and gaily. 4 and 20 tailors went to catch a snail. The best man amongst them durst not touch her tail. She put out her horns like a little curly cow. Run, tailors, run, or she'll have you all now. Then without a pause the little mouse voices went on again. Sieve my lady's oatmeal, grind my lady's flour, put it in a chestnut, let it stand an hour. Mew, mew, interrupted Simpkin, and he scratched the door. The key was under the tailor's pillow. He could not get in. The little mice only laughed and tried another tune. 3 little mice sat down to spin. Pussy passed by and she peeped in. What are you, my fine little men, making coats for gentlemen? Shall I come in and cut off your threads? Oh no, Miss Pussy, you'd bite off our heads. Meow, meow, cried Simpkin. "Hey, diddle dinkety," answered the little mice. "Hey, diddle dinkety, poppety pet." The merchants of London, they were scarlet, silk in the collar, and gold in the hem. So merrily marched the merchantmen. They clicked their timbers to mark the time, but none of the songs pleased Simpkin. He sniffed and mewed at the door of the shop. "And then I bought a pinkin and a pumpkin, a slimkin and a slopkin, all for one farthing, and upon the kitchen's dresser," added the rude little mouse. "Meow! Scratch! Scratch!" shuffled Simpkin on the window sill, while the little mice inside sprang to their feet, and all began to shout at once in little twittering noises, "No more twist! No more twist!" And they barred up the window shutters and shut out Simpkin. But still, through the nicks in the shutters he could hear the click of timbers and little mouse voices singing, "No more twist! No more twist!" Simpkin came away from the shop and went home, considering his mind. He found the old poor tailor without fever, sleeping peacefully. Then Simpkin went on tiptoe and took a little parcel of silk out of the teapot and looked at it in the moonlight, and he felt quite ashamed of his badness compared with those good little mice. But do you think the mice were really good? When the tailor awoke in the morning, the first thing which he saw upon the patchwork quilt was a skein of cherry-coloured twisted silk, and beside his bed stood the repentant Simpkin. "Alack, I'm worn to a ravelling," said the Tailor of Gloucester, "but I have my twist." The sun was shining on the snow when the tailor got up and dressed, and came out into the street, with Simpkin running before him. The starlings whistled on the chimney stacks, and the throstles and the robins sang, but they sang their own little noises, not the words they had sung in the night. "Alack," said the tailor, "I have my twist, but no more strength, nor time, that will serve to make me one single buttonhole, for this is Christmas Day in the morning. The Mayor of Gloucester shall be married by noon, and where is his cherry-coloured coat?" He unlocked the door of the little shop in Westgate Street, and Simpkin ran in like a cat that expects something. What do you think he expected? But there was no one there, not even one little brown mice. The boards were swept and clean, the little ends of thread and the little silk snippets were all tidied away and gone from off the floor. But upon the table, oh joy! The tailor gave a shout. There, where he had left plain cuttings of silk, lay the most beautifulest coat and embroidered satin waistcoat that ever was worn by a mayor of Gloucester. There were roses and pansies upon the facings of the cloak, and the waistcoat was worked with poppies and cornflowers. Everything was finished except just one single cherry-coloured buttonhole, and where that buttonhole was wanting there was a pin scratch of paper with these words in little teeny-weeny writing, "No more twist." And from then began the luck of the Tailor of Gloucester. He grew quite stout, and he grew quite rich. He made the most wonderful waistcoats for all the rich merchants of Gloucester, and for all the fine gentlemen of the country round. Never was seen such ruffles or such embroidered cuffs and lappets, but his buttonholes were the greatest triumph of all. The stitches of those buttonholes were so neat. I wonder how they could have stitched by an old man in spectacles with crooked old fingers and a tailor's thimble. The stitches of those buttonholes were so small, they looked as if they had made by my little mice. And that's the story of the Tailor of Gloucester. Now, let's take a look at some hard words at the word workshop that you might not know. Periwigs, big fancy wigs people wore long ago. Lappets, pretty cloth or lace that hangs down from a hat or cap. Paduasoy, an old kind of shiny heavy silk cloth. Taffeta, smooth and crisp fabric that makes a rustling noise. Pompadour, a hairstyle where the hair is pushed up high in the front. Lutestring, a glossy silky fabric, a bit like taffeta. Breadths, white pieces of cloth. Note, another word for zero or nothing. Pansies. Colorful flowers that look like little faces. Worsted, a type of smooth wool yarn or fabric. Chenille, a soft fuzzy yarn that feels like a caterpillar. Skein, a bundle of yarn or thread wound up. Raveling, when the threads come loose from fabric. Pennorth, pennyworth, that's another synonym. Something that costs only a penny. That's very cheap. Hearth, the floor in front of a fireplace. Bias, a slanting line across fabric. That's what bias means in this text, but in other stories it can mean unfair. Peculiar, strange or different. Vexed, upset, annoyed, or worried. But kids, don't be vexed because this story is supposed to be happy. Trudging, walking slowly and tiredly. Garret, a tiny room at the top of a house, usually in the attic. Thanks for swinging by again without a kitchen. Make sure to smash the subscribe button again and the notification bell for more storytelling fun. Hope to see you soon. Bye for now.